is Monday, May 9th, about 8:30 in the morning. It's an absolutely gorgeous day here today. Not a cloud in the sky. It's supposed to get up to 18 or 19 degrees, which will be absolutely amazing. I am still trying to resolve my leak issue. You can see this is where the water level has stopped and held steady. So the fitting that I thought may have been the issue initially was the one on that side. You can see the water has clearly dropped below that, so that is definitely not the culprit. The fitting on this side, however, the water is kind of stopped right at that point, so there could be water getting in there and slowly leaking out somewhere. And of course the bottom drain, which is down there, I have a plan in mind to try and plug that up and then see if that's going to cause any issues leak-wise, or resolve the issue, I should say. I'm going to work on that after I try this one first. What I did pick up at a swimming pool supply store is a plug that actually goes into, it's a rubber plug with a wing nut on top. When you tighten it, it causes this to expand to block the plumbing. This should be the right size for that opening. So I'm going to take the little cover and the eye off of it, put the plug in, seal it tight with that, and then add a bit of water, just slightly above the eye itself, a couple of 3 inches, and see what happens. If there is no further water loss, I'll know this is the problem. If it drops down to where it is now, then obviously that's not the issue. And like I said, I will sort of move on to trying something different with the bottom drain. So I will keep you all posted. I am thinking, if it is the bottom drain, because of the work that would be involved to try and dig up the piping and everything like that to repair it, just not practical. I can't pull the liner back or anything to get into the pond. Just the way it's secured, it's just not physically not possible. I would end up having to remove the entire liner, and I'm certainly not going to do that. If I have to seal up the bottom drain completely, I will, and turn the pond into a pump-fed system connected to retro bottom drains, and that would mean adjusting all the filtration setup, of course. I'm hoping I don't go that route, but I will certainly let you follow along as I continue to go. I am really hoping that I can get this resolved soon. Again, the water out here is super cold, so it's still a bit too chilly to get the fish out yet, but they should really be ready to come out in the next 2 or 3 weeks, based on the warmer temperatures we're due to get. So I am hoping I can get this sorted and get them outside. So I will give you an update on my activities here with the plug a little bit later in the video. And as I said, if it works, fantastic. If it doesn't work, then it's drain the pond partway down and get into that bottom drain to plug the pipe and see what happens. I will be back with you a little bit later in the video. The plug is now in place, and I'll just pop the camera underwater in a moment so you can see it. And as I said, I'm going to raise the water level up to about this point, so 3 or 4 inches above the plug itself there, so it's about there. See if that makes any difference in the water as far as the leakage is concerned. As far as I can tell, that is sealed in there now. And notice that I'm going to get out of the pond now and raise the water level up just that 3 or 4 inches, and I'll come back out in a few hours and see if there has still been a water loss. I'm hoping to get this resolved in the next couple of days so I can get sorted out what I need to do with respect to sealing anything off and making adjustments and plans to move the filters, plumbing, etc. if necessary. So I will follow up very shortly once again, and thank you for watching and stay. It is 12:30 on Wednesday afternoon. It's an absolutely gorgeous day. The temperature is about 21-22 degrees Celsius. just like early summer, which is absolutely amazing. Sky's great with just a few clouds ongoing, and I, on the other hand, am standing in a actually about a 1/3 full pond, still dealing with the leak issue, and I've tried a number of things, none of which have been successful yet. This fitting here seems to be fine, because when you can sort of see the water level, it stops right about this point there. I'll fill it up above that, and then I'll go down to that point, so that fitting is definitely not involved in the leakage. The fitting on this side over here, I have put a plug in and just sealed around it now to make sure that it stays. There definitely has been water in that fitting even with the plug, so that's why I've sealed it with a bit of the Flex Seal on there. I'm going to let that dry for a few hours, and then I'll top the pond up again. And the bottom drain, although you can't see it as far as what I've done, is where the pipe comes underneath the pond, or underneath the pond, which kind of runs from that area into underground and then over to the filter area. That has been capped and sealed to the best of my knowledge. Now, because it is under liner, it comes back to probably about that point when I reach into it, so I can't sort of get down there to see exactly what's going on. But that has been sealed, and the pond continues to leak a little bit, so it could be that the water is still bypassing that slightly. I'm just not sure at this point. What I did do, and you can just see the white cap there, that's a pipe that comes up for the aeration, for the aerated component of the bottom drain dome. So I have just capped that off as well, just in the event that the leak might be going through there for some reason. I know it is a little hard to see, but if you look at the blue part there, that is actually a check valve to prevent water from kind of backflowing into the airline that came with the drain when I installed it. So I'm assuming that is working properly. I'm, again, not sure because I haven't had the air running because of my issues here, but I thought if I cap that off, once I'm ready to refill partway here and see if the leak has been resolved, at least that'll give me a couple of different ideas. I'm now kind of leaning towards this one over here as possibly being the culprit, but again, I'm not sure. The next option that I have available to me, as far as I can think about it, is to actually seal the bottom drain off completely, and that would be using an expanding waterproof waterfall foam that will quite literally fill the bottom drain fully, and then making it impermeable to any water getting in there whatsoever. If there's still an issue after that, then I'm not sure sort of what the next steps would be. If that does seal things up, what I will end up doing is converting the pond into a pump-fed system. So the pump will be submersed in the pond here with a couple of retrofit bottom drains connected to it. The water will then be pumped likely through the wall or potentially over the wall up to the filter pit area at the back. Or alternatively, I'm thinking of maybe the garden shed there. If I rearrange items inside, that part of that might become my filter shed. Certainly be closer than putting it up behind the filter pit. The filter pit would then become a storage area for some of the items that are in the shed. So it's still a kind of work in progress. As I said, I'm going to give another shot here to see later on today or first thing tomorrow morning if I have resolved the issue. As I said, if not, I will completely drain the pond, vacuum out all the water out of the bottom drain, pick up some of the waterfall foam, and thoroughly fill the bottom drain with it, and see what happens from there. If that seals it, as I said, that's going to kind of put it out of commission completely. If the water does still leak after that, then obviously that's kind of not the issue, and I can always sort of chip that foam out of there because it's certainly workable. It's not rock hard once it dries. Would be easy to get, well, won't be easy to take it out, but it's possible to take it out. I did go all the way around the liner with my hands yesterday. You can kind of see where the little bit of sediment was there up against the wall, and I went completely around in the folds and everything. I could not feel anything that would show a penetration. So I'm still leaning towards the plumbing, because every time I do kind of fill the test, it always goes down to exactly the same level. And I said that's about the level in the ground where the piping starts to rise up into the filter pit. It does that about 6 feet here away from the pond underground, and then rises up slightly to get into the pit. So I'm again leaning towards the fact that something has either snapped or cracked or something, kind of at the ground level or the sort of pond level area underground before it rises up, and that's why the water's just kind of staying at that level constantly. But again, that is, roughly 2/3 or maybe less of the pond volume that would be lost if it's filled up to the top again. So still a work in progress. I hope to have a good news updated video soon. If not, if I don't get this resolved, as I said, with the bottom drain as being the issue, then it's going to be major changes to the filtration system, converting it from gravity fed to pump fed. I've been thinking about positioning, how all that's going to go. I will still be using the setup very similar to what I have now with the 2 easy pods and then the 2 moving bed filters, and still planning on adding some additional filtration once all of that is up and running. So as I said, just an amazing day out here. Hopefully everything is going to dry up quickly where I resealed the drain or the inlet there. The bottom drain, as I said, if that's still potentially a culprit, I will do the waterfall foam on the weekend, let it cure very, very thoroughly, maybe put a layer of the quick seal on top of it after that, just to sort of double secure it, and then we'll see what happens. I'm hoping, if it is the bottom drain is the issue, that I will be able to continue to use the aerated component of it, because I can still put the air pump and get the air coming up through the dome. If not, then I'll just have to put an air stone or a couple of them into the pond by running the lines either over the wall or through the wall at some point. So I'm not quite ready to give up yet. So that despite what the title of the video said, it has been frustrating to say the least, but my waders are certainly getting a very good workout at this point. So bear with me. I hope to have some positive news soon. A few more wonderful days like this would be awesome. And once the pond is up and running and the filtration is all set up, everything working, I will be doing some videos as I bring the fish out, measure and display them, etc. So fingers crossed. Thank you again for sticking by me and taking the time to watch the videos. Take care. It's approximately 7:45 on Thursday morning. We have what is shaping up to be an absolutely gorgeous day, not a cloud in the sky. We are expecting to hit somewhere in the mid-20s temperature-wise today, which is just awesome. And as you can see, I'm still having a leakage issue with the pond. The pond is roughly half full, and that's where the water level seems to stop every single time. Now what I did yesterday is I drained the pond down even farther, got into my waders, I capped off the air line for the bottom drain, the part that feeds the air dome, and I put another cap on the fitting down here and sealed that all in to make sure there'd be no leakage through there. Filled the water up to just above that fitting, which is kind of my go-to mark for testing, and overnight the water has dropped and is actually still dropping a little bit now. So the issue definitely would seem to be a bottom drain leakage issue. So my next step at this point is to drain the pond thoroughly today, I'm going to get in and vacuum it out completely so it is 100% dry. The plug that I put in the pipe of the bottom drain that actually feeds into where the filters are, I'm going to remove that, vacuum all the water out of the drain line, the 4-inch pipe that runs into the filters. I'm going to take that out and vacuum that so that is dry. Then I'll put the plug back in, and then I'm going to tomorrow pick up a can of waterfall foam. It's a black foam, black expandable foam that I'm going to fill the bottom drain with, completely sealing it off, and let that dry thoroughly. Might even put a coat of the quick seal on top of that once that's in, and then we'll refill the pond partway to try and see what is going on, and hopefully that will seal things up. I'm not sure, of course, if that's going to work or not. That is the next step, and we'll have to see where that takes me. What I will be doing is, in order to save at least a bit of the water, as I had mentioned earlier in the video, the water will be going into my show tank over here. This holds about 1,000 gallons, I believe. So that will be filled right up to the top to save me at least a little bit of water, because it's been quite an expensive proposition just trying to sort things out here. And you can see it's my girl Cinnabon there relaxing in the cool grass this morning. She's been out here every day with me, keeping me company while I've been working on the pond. If the problem is resolved by sealing the bottom drain, and fingers crossed that will be the final step to at least get water back in the pond, what I am going to do at that point is convert the pond to a pump-fed filter system, and then have gravity fed back into the pond. So the filter pit that you have seen in my previous videos, which is over here, will basically become unused space, and the filters will either go back there behind the pit, where you see a couple of pieces of pipe just kind of standing up. Those are some of the fittings from in the filter pit that are not in use, obviously, at the moment. The other alternative that I'm considering is to use the portion of the garden shed here. It is fairly large, so what I can do is one half of it, mainly on the right hand side as we're looking at it here, I will empty out, put the filters in there, feed a line from the pump, which would be obviously in the pond, bring it up underground and into the shed for the filters, and then the water will return back again underground, so I'm not stepping on things and up over the wall. That's one fitting there where it would come through and then back into the pond. If I go that route, if that ends up being what I have to do, I will then purchase a couple of retrofit bottom drains to put in the pond, roughly in the middle of the pond, and sort of 6 feet from either side. Well, about 6 feet apart, I should say, so they'd be about 3 or 4 feet from either side, so I get a good coverage. And they'll be connected to the pump, which will in turn then feed the filter system. So that's kind of where things stand at the moment. I am trying to stay upbeat as much as possible about this. It's been a bit of a challenge, for sure, and I know the yard's a little bit of a mess. I have been just kind of moving a few things around, trying to get a little bit of gardening comfort going here. You can see a few of my little critters and statues there, my little dragon and rabbit and so on. And then on this side, this is actually my memorial to my dog that I've had in the past. This is all carved in granite. You can see the first one there is Cody. I had him for many, many years. The next one at this end is Colby. I didn't have him quite as long. He died unexpectedly in 2015. And then Angus, my St. Bernard mix, was just an awesome dog. Passed away a couple of years ago. And then of course I have my dog Angel statue here. And this is set up every spring. I leave all this out here for the entire summer, and then everything is put away to protect it over the winter. And my little sort of guardian here at the back door, just find him a bit of a novelty to kind of have something in the yard. And he does make me smile when I go in, which really is important when I'm dealing with water I have to put in here and an ongoing leak in the pond. So I haven't completely given up yet, although I am very, very discouraged, to put it politely. If I cannot resolve the leak for the bottom drain, as I mentioned a few moments ago, the only other option really to continue to have the pond functioning would be to put a whole new liner in. If I was to go that route, that would simply be on top of the existing liner, without the bottom drain and without the in-pond outlets. The challenge would be securing the liner to the wall surround, and the wall, as you can see here, is glued together with a construction adhesive and is not coming apart without the use of jackhammers. And I certainly don't want to go that route because it would be both hard work and expensive. The liner alone is going to be very expensive if I have to go that route. But I really don't want to give up on the fish. So I'm hoping that for about a $30 can, apologies for the noise in the background, it's a waste day today, so that's all getting picked up. That's the truck out on the street. I'm going to drain this down, as I said. Hopefully the foam will resolve the problem and I can get things back in order and get the fish out here. I'm happy to say they are all very happy down in the indoor pond, so I'm thankful I've got that. If I was dealing with the leak and the fish, it would be an absolute nightmare. So I'm going to end it there, and once everything is done in the next day or two as far as sealing up the bottom drain, etc., I will do a bit more video, let everybody see what's going on, and we'll update you as things progress one way or the other. Thank you again for watching. Please have a good day. Enjoy the lovely weather. Happy ponding. And if you haven't already done so, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. And your comments, as always, are very much welcome. Take care. For those of you who may be wondering, just to prove the fact that the koi are all happy and doing well in the indoor tank, you can see them cruising around here looking for some food. I haven't fed them yet today. That will be happening shortly. The sturgeon are over on the other side. You can just kind of see one popping up there a little bit into the bubbles. Here he comes looking for food as well. That's my short-nosed sturgeon, and he is doing well, as is the sterlet. And as I said, the koi doing very well down here. I know that they would be much happier outside, a lot more room, they can enjoy themselves out there, but they are down here doing well, and with luck I will have the issues resolved before too much longer, get that drain matter, the leak sorted out, and get these gorgeous fish outdoors where they really belong for the summer months.